new test for tuberculosis. If the test indicates a person has tuberculosis, the test is positive. All right, so I gave myself a P for a positive test, a T if you had tuberculosis, and an N if you did not have it. All right, so they told me experiment shows that the probability of a positive test is 0.76 given that a person has tuberculosis. So I wrote that as P, the probability of P given T, and I put what that is, okay? So the probability of 0.05 that the test registers negative, given that the person does not have tuberculosis, okay? So then I did P, the probability of P given N equals 0.05. So assume that the general population, the probability that a person has tuberculosis is 0.05, so I did P of T. All right, so there's things I have to answer. The first one is, has tuberculosis and has a positive test. So remember, I put up here my letters, so it's the probability of T and P. All right, so how do I know what I need? So I've gone up here, and remember, I've gotten things, so I use the rule. So I do the probability of T, which is 0.05, times the probability that there's a positive test given that they have tuberculosis, and I multiply those together. Does that make sense how I got those? Yes, no, maybe. I think this is going to be the toughest question on the exam. Everybody okay with what I did? Everybody's really quiet. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, what's the probability that they did not have tuberculosis? Anybody know that one? It's the complement rule, because remember, I knew if they had tuberculosis, it was 0.05. So all I do is subtract that from 1 to get that they did not have tuberculosis. All right, so what is C that they didn't have tuberculosis and had a positive test? This is called a false positive if anybody works in medical. All right, so probability of N and P. So remember here I got probability of N, which is 0.955, 0.9500. And I want to do the probability that it was positive given a negative result. Is that right? Let me make sure I did that right. Yeah, and they give it to me right here. So I'm just going to plug that in. And then I get 0.0475. Okay? That's how I got that one. Again, I went back up here and I just took from what I got from the problem. The only thing you have to solve for that's really not in the problem is this one right here. Everything else you're given. Okay. Did that explanation help? Remember, just use your rules. And again, remember we talked earlier about having all your rules written down. Where did I have them? Yeah, write down your rules and they'll help you. Okay. All right, what's the last question? I don't think it was really hard. All right. When do creative people get their best ideas? They talked to 966 inventors. So they were